What's up, Alex? It's Guys here. Finding a real estate deal off market is the best way to make millions in this hot market. I'm the co-owner of TRE here in Austin, Texas, and we're a real estate company that is focused on helping as many people as possible make money in and on real estate. I've been investing in real estate for about 6 years now and have made millions of dollars. But it doesn't go into my pocket, it all goes right back into more real estate. I've been able to find and take down hundreds of deals off market. But how did I do it? Great question. I had the same question at the beginning of my investing journey. You hear it all the time. Real estate investors are always talking about the ever elusive and highly coveted off-market deal. What is an off-market property? An off-market property is simply a property that isn't listed for sale publicly on the multiple listing service, aka the MLS. And there are so many ways to find off-market deals. Many real estate investors, myself included, love off-market deals. There's often less competition. If a property is listed on the MLS, then sites like Zillow and Realtor.com have it listed as well. Once it's on these highly trafficked sites, it gets a high degree of visibility from agents as well as investors. With real estate inventory still real tight in many markets around the country, you want to stay ahead of your competition. At the beginning of my investing journey, I was looking high and I was looking low. I wanted to find off-market deals in the most efficient way possible. I wanted to find all the deals. And I know you do too. So I figured out a system that works, and it's simpler than you may think. So today, let's go over it. I'm going to show you how to launch your investing career into the stratosphere. But before you hit the launch button on your investing career, I'd like you to hit that like button just below. It'll really help the YouTube algorithm and get this video out to more investors in more markets. And as the saying goes, all ships rise with the tide. So hit that button. Thanks. Now let's dive in and get after it. Alright, so one of the quickest and easiest ways to find off-market property owners is to go to the appraisal district website in whatever county you're looking for properties at. Maybe you have a list, you've been driving for dollars, you have some addresses, and you want to find the off-market property owner. So what you'll do is you'll go to the county's appraisal district website. Let's use Travis County for example. Just go to Google, type in the county appraisal district. Click property search, and this will bring you to a place where you can search for properties and find out who the owner is and where their mailing address is. So let's just look at a property that we own. All right, click into the property. You've got all this information. So we have where it's at, we have the address, we have the entity or the owner's name, we have the mailing address, percentage ownership. Then you can also have access to other information such as tax assessed values and how much people are paying in taxes. And so what you do with this information is you could send them a mailer, you could go knock on the door of the owner and see if they wanted to sell. And that's one quick and easy way to find an off-market property owner. Another way is your county's website should have a way that you can find certain lists such as probate, divorce list, pre-foreclosure lists, and much more. Here on the Travis County website, we have all of these different types of public files and information that we can find. But ones related to real estate, let's look at appointment of substitute trustee. That is referring to a pre-foreclosure here in Texas. And this is in Travis County. And so this is just how the Travis County website looks. Your county's website may look different, and sometimes you may even have to go there in person to pull the files. But thankfully, we're able to do it online here in Travis County. So if you don't want to pay for softwares, you can go straight to the county to get this information. And so just to show you, come in here, it's going to start searching for the records. And this is all public information that's been filed. So as of 2 days ago, that was the last file. You can view these documents. And here are the pre-foreclosure documents that have been filed with Travis County. Talks about the grantor who is being foreclosed on. Talks about the address, the legal description, how much they're being foreclosed on for. And then from here, what you would do is you would take this information and you would try and contact this property owner before they go into foreclosure. So this is dated on March 4th. That's when it was filed. Sometimes it'll talk in here about when the foreclosure date is. Sometimes it doesn't. It kind of varies on what files they have here. But this is a great way to find pre-foreclosure deals just by going to the county and pulling these documents, and then you can find the owner from there. Same thing here, a couple different documents. And it's all public information. So if they don't have it online for you to go and search for, you just need to go to the county's office and ask them for these documents, and they'll be able to give them to you. Now, if you don't want to go through all that trouble of finding them one by one, you can use software such as Propelio. Propelio costs about $50 a month, I believe, and it gives you 5,000 records every single day. So you can download and export these records. These are just the data. It doesn't include phone number and emails and things like that. You have to pay extra for that. However, I'm going to show you how to find that information here in a minute. But on software such as Propelio, or there's other ones like REI Pro, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of PropStream. These softwares all essentially do the same thing. Personally, I like Propelio due to the amount of records it allows me to export. And then also too, they have an app on your phone that you can utilize for driving for dollars. But you can pull lists from softwares like Propelio. And what you would do is you can come in here and you can search by county, city, or zip code. Let's search for city. So we just say Austin or whatever city you're looking for. So we choose Austin, Texas, and then we can start diving into what information we want to look for. So here I could do bed, bath, year built, building square foot, lot size, how many stories, how many units. I typically leave this blank because it's not that important to me, but this other data is. So if I was only looking for residential single-family homes, I could just click here. If I was looking for duplexes, I could click here. Quadplexes, same thing. Motels, hotels, high-rise apartments, so on and so forth. You can choose what data you want to pull. For today, let's just click duplex. So let's say I'm looking for duplexes in Austin, Texas. Now we can go into owner info. So I can do individual owned, trust owned, bank owned, corporate owned. Today I'm going to do individual, and this will remove the LLCs and things like that. And it'll just give me individual people who own these. Let's say absentee owner, they don't live in it. And you can choose in-state, out-of-state, or out-of-country. Let's just do in-state and out-of-state. And then there's other things like this as well. Senior, homestead, vacant. But let's just do individual, absentee owner. Let's say we want to find one with high equity. So I can click here, and all these data points are going to go into this list. So let's say I want my minimum equity to be at 30% of the value. All right. Pre-foreclosure, we'll just leave that blank. List options. Typically you'll click include new records only. It says that we have 0 matches, which is odd. So let's remove this. We got 4 matches. All right, so they must not have a lot of high equity. But what you can do here is you can preview the list, and here are my properties. For some reason, it didn't choose all duplexes in Austin. Oh, that's the county. No wonder. So we want to choose Austin, Texas, the city. And now we should have way more than 4 matches. That makes a lot of sense. We've got 4,418 matches. Let's go back and let's do the high equity, minimum 30%. All right, so now I've got 2,000 matches. So I can preview my list, And here are all of these duplexes in Austin, Texas, meeting all that criteria. I can save the list, and then I can download and export the list. And then from there, what I can do is I can take this list and I can plug it into a skip tracing software so that it can skip trace the data, bring it back to me, and give me phone numbers so that I can start contacting the owners. So let's dive into how to skip trace. All right, guys, so now that we have all the information from either the county website or from a software such as Propelio, we're gonna have the names, we're gonna have the property address, right? We can utilize the mailing address as well if we wanted to send them out mailers, but for right now, what I'm gonna show you is how to plug this into a skip tracing software. That way you can get phone numbers and mailing addresses too. So what we're gonna do, this is a list that I've already been working on, and we're just gonna start here. So I'm gonna grab, you're gonna have to organize these spreadsheets. Hopefully you're good with Excel. If not, hire you a VA who is. But I'm gonna grab all this data. I'm gonna copy it into a new spreadsheet. And when you plug these into skip tracing softwares, you have to plug them in a certain way. That way the format will work for skip tracing. It's a little annoying and kind of tedious, but it is what it is. So I've got my list here of property owners and addresses that I want to search and get their contact information. That way we can reach out to them. So I've utilized a lot of different softwares before for skip tracing. And currently what we utilize is Skip Genie. It's pretty good. It does have a monthly fee, I believe around $50. And with that monthly fee, I believe you have unlimited individual skip tracing. So if I wanted to just look up one owner, I could type the name in, I could type in the address and search for it, and it would provide that to me for free with my monthly membership, as long as it's these individual searches over and over again. Now, for lists that we're pulling, and for lists of 293, for example, or the original list, if I wanted to, of about 20-something hundred, I don't want to do that 20-something hundred times, 2,491 times individually. So you can do bulk skip traces on it. However, it does cost extra money to bulk skip trace, but it's worth it to not have to spend the time on it. So I can come in here, I can create a bulk search work order, and what I have to do is upload this file. Now, like I mentioned before, it has to be in a certain format for the skip tracer to work. So currently I'm going to use this format down here in example 2. So I have to edit the header here. I have to edit the header, last name, first name, middle name. Then this needs to say address. This needs to say city. This needs to say state, and this one has to say zip code. One word, Z and C capitalized. And this has to say campaign. So after this, I have to save it as a CSV file, and then I have to upload the file. I'm going to save as, let's call it book 9, that's fine. CSV to my desktop. Got it saved. So now I'm going to upload that file. Book 9 CSV. Search format. I want all of my phone numbers in columns, so vertical, as opposed to horizontal, for purposes later when I'm uploading into softwares. So I'm going to click columns, and I click create. All right, here is the price it's going to cost me, $42.50. Now again, I like Skip Genie due to how accurate the data is. There's a ton of different softwares out here for skip tracing. I think Skip Genie is around 15 cents or so per data entry. There's other softwares out there that'll cost you 3 cents per data entry, and I've utilized a lot of different ones. And you know, for lists of 10,000 data points that I want to search for, it's a lot. You know, it makes a difference whether you're paying 3 cents or 15 cents. It's either, you know, $300 or $1,500. But I like using Skip Genie due to how accurate it is. And so what I do is I take it in sections as opposed to running a full 10,000 list at 3 cents per name, and a lot of the data not being accurate. A lot of them are never going to be 100% accurate. Matter of fact, none of them will be, but you just have to find one that it works the best. So I'm going to go ahead, purchase credits, and submit. Yep, I'm sure. Now this takes a while to skip trace. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes, sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it takes a few hours, depending on how big the list is. So we're not going to wait for that, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a list that I've already pulled, and this is what it looks like. So when it comes back through Skip Genie, you'll download the list, and this is what will pop out. So we've got phone numbers, phone types, it's the same campaign, addresses, we have other information such as emails, bankruptcies, and other things. Whether, you know, this person is deceased, their age, some other information if you find it valuable. For today's purpose, and for what I'm about to show you with cold calling and texting, all we want to know is the phone number, the address, the name, and I want to make sure that I'm calling wireless phones, so cell phones and not landlines and or pagers. I don't know who still has a pager, but they come up in here. So I need to organize this list, and what I'm going to do is I am going to organize this column here because I only want to know the wireless phone numbers. You have your addresses here and your emails if you want to utilize it. I delete these because it makes these rows so wide. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. Now we're back to normal. All right, and so here are all my landlines. You don't want to throw away this data. You want to save this data for the landlines because you can cold call them. Sometimes you can't get a hold of the wireless, and these landlines are good pieces of data, but today we're just going to take the wireless phone numbers. So I'm going to create a new spreadsheet, and I'm going to take all this information here. Just the wireless, mobile phone numbers. Copy that data, bring it over here, come back up, I'm going to copy my header. And you can delete information if you'd like. I can delete all this. Got my address. Here is our mailing addresses. So as you see, this person owns a property in Austin, Texas, but lives in Mesa, Arizona. So you can utilize that for your mailers if you like. Again, do not get rid of this data. But for this spreadsheet that I'm creating, all I want is mobile phone numbers. Delete. I'm going to delete middle name. Then I'm going to delete all this. And all I'm left with is first name, last name, phone number, and address. So I'm going to save this file. Save it as Book 10 YouTube file. And we want to save it as a CSV for the purposes of uploading into softwares. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I'm going to show you how to plug this information into software so that you can cold call and text. All right, now that you have all your data, it's skip traced, it's organized, and it's ready to be plugged into some software, now it's time to take action. So there's a few different types of softwares that you can utilize. Personally, for cold calling, I've used Mojo Dialer and Call Tools. I'm sure there's plenty of others out there, but those are two of the most popular that have been mentioned and everybody talks about with real estate investing. Mojo Dialer is great. I do like it. I used to love Call Tools and use it a lot, and I loved the software, the texting, the scripts, everything Call Tools had to offer. Then they switched everything up and I hated version 2. And so that's when I tried out Mojo Dialer, and I do like Mojo. So one of our companies utilizes Mojo for cold calling, and it works great. And for Mojo, I believe it costs about $50 a month. And then you have to pay for a number as well. Sorry about that. It's $99 a month. And then if you need a number, then it costs like $5 a month for that number to call from. Now what this software does is instead of you using your phone and dialing in these numbers and then calling one by one, you plug in this list and it starts automatically calling this list for you. You can categorize these lists, whether it was a good lead, a bad lead, a hot lead. It can transfer this information to your CRM as you're calling. You can take notes. You can have a script there to read, and it makes cold calling really, really efficient. Now, you do want to scrub these lists for the do not call list, and you don't want to call anybody on the do not call list. That's very important, and Mojo and these other softwares can do that for you. It can scrub it to make sure you're not breaking any laws. Now, Mojo Dialer is great, and when you have an account, what you'll do is you'll log in, you'll upload this list, and it'll start calling for you. It can call up to about 3 people at a time, and if one person answers and say 2 people answer at the same time, because it's calling this list as a power dialer, it will hang up on one person. You can send them an automated text message. It can leave automatic voicemails. You can talk to this person. The system will automatically call that second person back. And so it just makes cold calling really, really efficient. Now for texting, another software you can utilize is Batch Leads. Batch Leads is a good one. We've used it before. A lot of real estate investors use it here in Texas, and I do like it. And it is beneficial, and it does work. Now for batch leads, what you'll do is you'll take these lists. You can actually get data from batch leads as well if you'd like. It's a little bit more expensive than other softwares that we've already gone over, but you'll take this data, you'll upload it in here, and you can text people automatically. Now, you'll have scripts already plugged into batch leads. You'll plug in the list, you'll click play, and it'll start texting people. And then it's your job to reply back to these potentially motivated sellers to see if they're interested in selling and take the lead from there. It's, it requires less time and energy than cold calling, and everybody texts now. A lot of people don't want to get on a phone call. This is 2022, and texting is great. Now, texting and cold calling are cheaper versions than sending out mailers, and I honestly feel they're more efficient than mailers. Mailers are efficient, and they do work. So if you're able to, it's best to do all 3 of these. But if you wanted to just do mailers, there's plenty of these softwares out there too. One that we've utilized in the past is Direct Mail Manager. You can do things such as yellow pages or yellow letters, and there's a whole bunch. Just go to Google and type in, Mailer Manager, and you'll get a bunch of options. But we've used Direct Mail Manager before. You create an account. You can create a template for a postcard that you want to send out. You plug in your list of mailing addresses, and you click send, and it'll send your postcard out to all these mailing addresses. Mailers typically cost around 49 cents a mailer. Texting costs around 7/10 of a penny per text message. And so I like texting versus mailers if I had to choose one, because I can get about 83 texts out to one person for that one mailer that I'd send them. So I do like texting versus mailers if I had to choose one, but it's best to do all 3. And from here, you can start hitting this list, contacting people, and getting some possibly motivated seller leads. If you want to learn more about cold calling, check out this video right here that I did in the past about live cold calls, and that'll give you an idea of what to say and how to navigate the conversations. But regardless of whether it's cold calling, texting, or mailers, what you're looking to do here is just build a relationship. You're trying to solve problems. You're trying to see how you can help. Don't get on the phone call and expect that this person's gonna sell their house to you, the first time you talk to them. It's not your goal. Your goal is to identify potential motivation and see if you can possibly help. So now you know exactly how to find off-market deals. You now have a leg up on the competition. But this video won't get you deals. You have to go out there and put what I told you today into action. Go find deals, go start calling owners, send mailers, send texts, hear no 100, 1,000 times and get better every single day at your craft. The person who does more than they are paid for will soon be paid for more than they do. Napoleon Hill. But hey, if you're still feeling overwhelmed or lost, that's okay. Drop any questions that you have below or go to our Instagram and send us a message. I promise to personally respond to you. And be sure to subscribe, turn on that bell notification so that you can watch every new video we put out as soon as it drops. Thanks again for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.